Hi. I I finished eating. So let's get it in. Mm. Here we are again. And you have returned to Doodle. How was your work? Do you still have food? Where were we in the game? My turn. We met that wizard Aga last time. What happened? Uh, look for upgrades. And you don't have much money. What? Why? Why not? No! Where did it go? You were supposed to have still a little bit. Would anyone else buy it for you? Ah, evil Spotify. No. Well, good thing that you have the savings, but still, it's horrible. With just 10 euros, how are you going to survive with just 10 euros? I. That's very little. Like, you can't even take a bus here if you don't have, like. Ah, your parents feed you. Okay. That's a relief. That's a relief. Okay, you'll survive. I don't have to worry. Oh, what kind of tea? I'm currently drinking some black tea again. You liked it? Was it like just without anything else, just the tea, or with like milk or sugar or like that? It's great that you liked it. I usually drink my tea without anything extra either. Mm, where were we? You notice something strange by the door of your oven. A leather spin slipped under the door. in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. Medicine tea. Yeah, no wonder you didn't like tea. There are so many different kinds of tea available. I don't like all of them, but I like a lot of different kinds of tea. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. Why do you want to love jasmine tea? I, d- I, I don't like it very much. It smells nice, but it doesn't smell or taste like edible in a sense, if that makes any sense. Ah, that's that's good reason as any, I guess. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of Saint John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. Sounds suspicious. There is no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. But what about the other vampires? Like Agathon, we already met Agathon once. Do I have a secret admirer? Faith and myth. Hmm. Searching for who? Internet cafe. Maybe I'll find you here. But if we don't go and meet up with this one, maybe they will disappear. Faith and myth. Maybe we should go check them out. You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of Saint John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. And it looks ominous, a bit like the painting I did. Colors are similar. The prospect of anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You quickly learn this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, You're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. I don't know if I have that kind of power, and I guess I can't try it. Maybe I do. Hmm. uh, hmm, maybe this one. Yeah, so many secrets. Interesting things to learn. Religion is superstition. It must be your nerves. As you try to shake the feeling of crushing foreboding, it occurs to you that vampires are a superstition too. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and a simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to the church. Perhaps unconsciously you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into a cathedral. Only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. What is he doing? Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Uh, the man is looking straight into your soul. You turn and run the way you came, stumbling out of the cathedral. You emerge outside, confused and scared. What was that? At least you escaped unharmed. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. What a scary priest. And who is this? Hold. Oh, why that automatic moderation thing that sounded like an old lady has been like written in red in my eyes. So I guess that's what it was sensing. Weird. How did it feel? You look at the man speaking. He's well dressed, if a little archaic. Dark haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something to know. Let me make it a little less loud. It should be quieter now, I think. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Why does it hurt so much? That's the question I wanted to talk to you about. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. So I guess you're a vampire. Benoit? Benoit? Benoit offers his hand to you. Hmm, should I do this or not? Maybe I shall just shake hands. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. There is nothing in my eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit points to a park bench nearby in darkness because of a broken streetlight. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. He must be pretty old since he used that old-fashioned stationery, maybe. Or he's a hipster. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it is so much easier to show than tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? First I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest. I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his fate that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you wondered what this all is about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the masquerade. A human, faced with a human problem, can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The masquerade means that everything here, everything. Bleh, somewhat here. Everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're, you're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. He had a heartbeat? My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? Hmm. Whoa, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it. Maybe there is. I don't know either. But I know that Father Anthony's fate is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know fate is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But You have questions about faith and our kind? Yeah, he seems to be very eager to have me. How do you know any of these stories are true? I don't. How could I know? This is what faith is. You have to believe something. Good and evil, right and wrong, love and hate. I believe we are damned. I also believe that there is always hope, grace. Father Anthony's faith shows me the way. It's easy for us to lose ourselves in a morass of occult speculation. Some of our kind revere Cain, others Lilith. Many in the Camarilla place their faith in the invisible guidance of Methuselahs who are supposed to watch over us. What Methuselahs? Yet I wonder how much that really matters when compared to the character of a good man. Did you have anything else, or did I come here just to talk about religion? I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside them. Um, this is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity? Benoit nods patiently. Let us meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. Okay. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true, but what does that mean? I have some more time to try to meet up with somebody else. Um, let's meet up with Hope, if we can. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days, but behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on colorful online games. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. You approach the man and tell him, I'm looking for Hope. He releases a soft chuckle. Yeah, you and me both. The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in silence. After a long awkward moment, when you're ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. Come, right this way. He heads back into the cafe, and you follow his lead. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. I've actually never played Fortnite myself. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? Well, a lot of people enjoy Fortnite. I don't really consider it cringe per se, but I don't think it's for me. The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile grey corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. There's a rhythm game in Fortnite? Well, I have no idea because I haven't tried it. Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. Hmm. As you do, you hear the door shutting behind you, back and uh, your back and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application, like Discord. Mm. 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 Words are difficult. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, you type in. Maybe it's your newfound sensibilities going haywire, but this place has a barely noticeable sleazy aura. Might as well go along with it. Hmm. What? What? No. You input pornos collector and push the enter button. After a few seconds, the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. So quick. I can't read those aloud so fast. Who's this executioner? Just to be clear, I don't have a wank rag. More. Oh, sure. No FR. Not much longer. Yeah, Cherry is the chat MVP. I mean, admitted to far worse things on here. God, I'm so horny. Not sure why I'd have a need to lie about this one. Um, literally, who cares? You and me both, bozo. Wait, who's Pornos Collector? Pornos Collector? No idea. A new user. Wasn't here a second before. What the hell? Was anyone informed? No, no. Announcement. I know I wasn't. Uh, Pornos Collector, identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. Hmm. The chat goes silent. Everyone's seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close knit group. Better say something before they kick you out. Yeah, that's like more close knit than close knit groups really usually are. Somebody would say something there. Um, Looking for hope. Is she here? Who the fuck are you? This was meant to be a safe channel. What went wrong? Stay calm. Yeah, sure, that's... Oh, Cherry. Gonna DM... Blah blah blah. Yeah, you're gonna regret. Dumbass, today you decided to spy on us. I'm not spying. I was brought here. What? I don't think you can use your powers on a chat. Calm down. Fuck off. That one guy brought me here. Doubtful. Though this is where I can meet Hope. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. Jerry, how are things on your end? Got the info. Nice. You wanna die, asshole. You will die, die, die. Mowing everyone sentencing. Bonus collector to death. I'm literally on my way to kill you. Yeah, sorry to inform you, you're about to die. Rest in peace, bitch. You're getting your throat slit right here, right now. No. A split second after you read the message, you feel someone's arms tightening around your neck. The violent return to reality catches you off guard. My throat. A jolt of panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily. You've come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with. Maybe it's Hope. Last words. Sophie sent me here. Langley. The hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle, or I will break your windpipe. Or my phone, which would end even worse. Sounds of a camera shutter and light flashing. Did they just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder. Pretty please. The mysterious assailant loosens their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a look at them. Let me just finish this. It's a pale blonde woman in her 20s, giving you slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First, you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly it's difficult to speak. First, you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from a random thrift store finds. Then you take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second. Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's heaven without her permission. And she's back to her phone with her relatively small build. It's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead. And even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself, man. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just a bit stupid to say it out loud. A vibe check. Uh, these options are so. Vibe check. Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet, and in a dangerous situation. I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you probably heard of me. So I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries. But come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie. Oh yeah, credit where it's due. You're probably not a boring person online, going by your chosen handle. Uh, I don't remember how when this game was made. It was not very many years ago. It's relatively new. Believe it or not, among bloodsuckers, that's still rare as hell. Most of them are like clueless baby boomers when it comes to internet stuff. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. But look, if we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time she asked. Not to self. She really loves the sound of her own voice. Mm, I'm looking for people to join my coterie. Coterie, been there, done that, not interested. Unless she takes a closer look at you. Her eyes go wide. Wait. Shit, are you the new Langley plating? Yep, that's me. Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant. She'd start building a network. Your emissions tell me that could really come in handy when. But Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of this kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Piece of, but then again, fucking Kara. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself. Only parts of it audible. Is it just you, or do the facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you. She focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I propose a little game. Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above it. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seems to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Hmm, wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it over. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. She is serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap 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 tap. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade? High. Content warnings? Oh yes. So, do you take the job? Why the hell not? I guess I'm taking the job. Hope brightens up, and her smile looks surprisingly sincere. Excellent. I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. Alright, give me a second. She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before, then urges you to sit down. The explanation of the moderator's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt this chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It's a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? Oh my. What the... I don't know. You peek at the chat. We are not worthy, queen. Fucking a angel. Hell yeah, time to fuck. Mm. You're tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously you won't punish someone for a little dirty talk. Thank you! Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Bonus Collector. Sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe Tay and Hope came up with one specifically for you. Who knows? You decide to stay silent. Eventually, people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show. Alright, let's start this one with a bang, shall we? It begins. Oh boy, she's going to do it. Wounding with a nickname. So, this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she is going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, and then bites. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying gory mess. It's unclear if she uses them to slash or bite, but one thing is for sure. No ordinary human could cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you'd expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope's technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing Vitae all over her hand to maximize the impact of the violent image. Then she starts drinking it up. Her own Vitae, blood, whatever. That's kinda ugh. She makes it a point to make the sight less as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The model, the contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model is stunning. Once she's done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. Hmm, so that is possible as a vampire. Shortly after, the wound is gone. It's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it. Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show. While you're wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your bewildered face and turns into your direction. How's that for an opening? Hmm. Hmm. Are you hurt? Not at all. See. She presents her wrist to you, now fully healed. You stare into her eyes, expecting answers, and she obliges. If you expected a strip show, yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like a live streamed digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course, somewhere. You peek at the chat, they are going wild. She did that for free. I'd love to lick your wrist clean, my angel. Ah, yes, nothing more arousing than a beautiful woman teetering on the edge of oblivion. A rose petal dancing in the eye of a violent hurricane. I see. But eroticism is not the key here. It's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. It sure is, but my content isn't as wild as hers. She bares her fangs again in a devious grin. I've no interest in destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at the beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending wounds is just one of these powers. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry. The only things the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you? High risk of violating the masquerade. What a joke. She is blatantly preaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, you turn your attention to the screen. But well, that's the internet. My guapa. Alright, I'm feeling generous today. Have you planned? I'll pay for the next. Ah, have you planned your next tattoo yet? Yeah, I'll pay for the next attraction. Looking like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. First victim, just letting you know you're based. I know. And smashing of keys. Hmm. You let the guy vent his excitement. Seems harmless. Yeah, this stream is kind of private because there's like probably just you watching this. But there might be some other people. Who knows? A special message appears on the chat log claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see. Drink up, drink up, drink up, drink up. Hope pours all the contents of the bag into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood, but wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, it pays well enough. Oh, I don't have many followers, but maybe I will, at some point, get some more. You don't even bother to tell her this is not what you're thinking about. Safe to assume she knows. So, what do you know about the Kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything? While she's waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a conversation. Is there a vampire internet? If you find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. On how many things can she concentrate at one time exactly? Then one day, the NSA got in. Turns out elders never really got the hang of proper security practices. All the sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't exactly work as advertised. Then, of course, all the other three letter intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies of our post 9/11 times. The Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? I have, but I have not. A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old network serves as government honeypots, kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post a certain keyword on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So here is a certain thrill in becoming an online presence. without attracting attention from the authorities. She stretches on her bed. I hope you are still monitoring the chat. Of course not. You're not as good at dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent messages. Or is she talking to somebody? Can't wait for the real things to start. These two monitor setup rules. Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the second screen. The only woman I don't hate. Hope, more like my favorite hoe. Hmm. Despite the nickname, they seem supportive. You leave them alone. You look away from the screen for a second, and when you look back, there are 3 new messages from the same user. Yo, is it just me or does your face look kind of too retarded? But don't worry, baby. If you're a special needs person, I have a special thing here to satisfy you. It's my dick. Hmm, doing a great job back there, bonus collector. The guy gets banned, and goes back to running the show. Great job, bonus collector. Hmm, they must have heard her. You messed up. Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to Camarilla their network got compromised, the elders went batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who used social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death. Thanks to user Dick Steele, the next goal has just gotten successfully funded. Let's go! Vanishing Act. Dehumanize yourself and face the bloodshed. She raises her hand, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 1 finger up. The countdown ends and she immediately disappears from the screen, like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, you swear you can make some unusual glitching where her silhouette should be, but it could very well be just placebo. You're ready for this. 3, 2, 1. A flash of the camera. The instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media. You realize you are way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Those were some wild times, especially in New York. While most of them have no clue as to our real nature, a lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as national threats. And since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here, looking for easy PR victories. The last raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one, stirred up the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, so it's 2019 in this game. New York City is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War fucking II, and the cam as a whole got really spooked and swore off the internet. So So Prince Panhard was embraced before World War II. Of course, they are not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's crazy zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon, but let the other, let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is a real threat, no joke, but in many senses, the darkest place is right under the candle. You take another look at the screen. We want blood. How about some bad stuff? Can you do some bad stuff? Can you show us next time? It's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up. I see. But that's not even doing anything. The guy seems to be having the time of his life. Good on you, buddy. You're just going to let this guy shit up the chat. Come on, it's your job to react to spam. But he's not like spamming repeatedly, like constantly. Just sometimes. She lets out a dejected sigh and kicks the guy from the room herself. Can't imagine she's too satisfied with how you handled the situation. The show goes on. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Good to know. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. It's something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14. So romantic. And it drives them crazy. As proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for. Oh. Can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cross the border and suck up any illegal... Fuck man is getting banned if I can. Just to be clear, you realize what we are doing here is blatant breach of the Masquerade, right? Yep, I do realize that. I honestly expect you to leave or inform somebody by now. But you haven't, have you? No, I haven't. You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on the screen. Okay. That's spam, I guess. Good job handling that guy. Great. If nothing else works out, seems like you fit this job at the very least. In the end. In any case, the lost goal has just been funded. It's time for the great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right? Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers. You wanted blood? Come out into the streets, blow out your neighbors' throats, slash their veins and drink up. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they are possessed. Liberate yourself from the shackles of ordinary morality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. Hmm. What the hell is she doing to those people? What have you gotten yourself into? Transcend your bodies! Release the message of hope into the world! She jerks violently for a second, and then she falls down on the bed like a marionette that had just had its strings severed. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again. Alright, that's enough. Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. The stream ends, and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet. Let me take over. The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you. At Vulgar, what the fuck just happened? Guess the show is over. Everyone relax and go home. Oh, and I was almost ready to come, bros. Oh, Stitch, I swear on my father's grave one day I will find you and kick the ever-living shit out of you. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You've caught glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have you started to figure it out. Well, that's impossible. I'm immortal. I'm bored. I'm separated from most vampires in this city by a generational chasm. And I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. Years ago, I started researching tulpas, a collective unconsciousness, all the mumbo jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment. How many tulpas does she have? Way too many. The show was fake. A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentarian, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. All my internet cells started signal boosting each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire surrounded by legions of psychophants. Psychophants? Not like psychopaths. Hmm, the chat was fake. Some may think of it as a dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. Her constant tapping at the phone, even during the show, somehow she is capable of impersonating an entire chat room. I don't even have a self that could dissociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy. There was no masquerade violation. Yay! She was showing off her skills all along. She put you into a world of pure fiction, the same way she was testing you when she attacked you from the back. So, what's her verdict? Damn, she's good at this. Of course, you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian, but hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. If there ever was an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same. It's this one. Although, for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? Hmm, sure, why not? I have a hunch you're just saying that. Still, hey, in a way, this too is transcending beyond self. But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you? She puts away her phone for the first time since you met her and gives you a good hard look. Guess I can give it a shot, yeah. You're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kind of cute. Don't worry, no more modding jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news. She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of her room. I'll put you through enough shit. Next time, I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. She leads you through a labyrinth of grey corridors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through in. This city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me, and I'll guide you to places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. She leads you out of the building, into the back alleys. Even if someone else rules the streets, we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she leaves you alone, but you assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally. Power of hope. Hmm. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago. That was that was a fascinating meeting. I think I need to have a little break and get some more stuff to drink. Hopefully tea if there is still some left. But be right back. There was tea, so now I have more tea. And the only option is to rest. And have Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. It's Gregory! Yay! That's what Gregory looks like. I thought he was like much older. What the? Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Maybe this, that. He probably wouldn't tell me. Oh, those last 2 nights were nice. I had freedom, initiative. Good while it lasted, I guess. He smiles, apologi- apologetically. Apologet- apologetically? Yeah, apologetically. Don't shoot the messenger. Because wedding, shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the Anak thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of the line. Hmm, could happen. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. It's not my banana peel, is it? You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she is seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. That's the weakness of being of clan Toreador. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance, that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves, and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances. But I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Solakium. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You know there's a plain looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. Man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They are encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands, but it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that, just a handful of nights ago, would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Solakium. Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted deformed lineage of kindred. He's old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many heavens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he, or one of his servants, should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Hmm. I wonder how fast I need to do this. Won't probably tell anything. What about this? Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette, except his own. Good night and good luck. She flashes one last smile at you and thus back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the flash drive and head out toward Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The driver is almost pleasant this time of night. The drive, not driver. I didn't get Gregory, I guess. I have to drive myself. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor, purveyor, purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Hmm, I haven't been using my vampire powers lately. How about I try to sense him? I guess I got hungry. There are those bloodstains. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up on any details that would help you with locating Kaiser. Initially, the noise from the nearby amusement park floods your mind and momentarily stuns you. The child's cry, the loud bang of a car door closing, the bright old school logo of the Cyclone roller coaster all overload your senses, and you have to learn on a nearby booth to stay upright. You regain control, start walking, listening in, taking in the sights and smells, looking for something, anything to point you in the right direction. Man talking on his phone, a snippet of conversation. Hmm, poor stranger with the acne. Plenty, red stuff from the garage. Tidied up in general. The limo fit. for sure. Come on. Don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to. Yes, I know. I am. It's a privilege, Mr. K, sir. The call ends. The man tucks the phone away. It's a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. And doesn't fit the guy's rugged looks at all. He notices you. Hey, what you looking at? Huh? Looks like you're just the guy I was looking for. Care to call your boss again for me? Huh, no. I think you heard wrong. Piss off. Hmm. Listen, man, I need you to contact your boss and I need you to do it now. Quit wasting my time or things will get unpleasant real soon. You also have the good job. He doesn't take that well. He reaches into his pocket, produces a gun. You rush him. Bang. Uh oh. The bullet hits you in the arm and goes out the other side. It hurts, but what would be a debilitating wound for a mortal is just a nasty scratch for you. It takes a bit of brawling. The man's stronger than you'd expect, but using your powers, you're able to overcome him. With a few hits to the jaw, the man passes out from the pain. This was not a good idea, I guess. Honey sometimes makes tea better, but not always. Searching him, you find a fancy phone that doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. I just got violent. That's weird. The phone's locked, but the recent smudge on the screen gives you a rough idea of what the combination might be. You get it right on the second try. There's just one number in the phone book, unlabeled. You dial it and hear someone pick up. The voice is like a rusty pitchfork scraping against gravel. Hmm. What does that sound like?
Jackie, you're messing up my snuff session here. Better be something big.
Hi, I have something for you from Sophie Langley. Care to come pick it up? Silence. Not even a sound. The call ends. You try calling again, but the number is blocked. Nothing to do but wait to see if he shows up. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops near where you're waiting. One door opens in invitation. The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. How do I know something like that? That there should have been like a stripper pole. What kind of past do I have? There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, low-fi footage of a gory torture session. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all of this visual noise and then realize there's nobody there, or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You are 100% sure it's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. those banana flies or whatever. I don't want that in my mouth. Ew. I don't want that in my tea either. They sometimes go into tea and then it's like, why did you come here and ruin my cup? He burst them in an awful parody of a smile. Suddenly, somebody grabs you from behind, twists your arm, and pushes your head against the car's roof. Oh, it's him. I got them, boss. I have them. Huh. Is it Earl Grey again? Earl Grey with honey. The Nosferatu chuckles. Huh. He looks like a goblin.
Oh, congratulations, Dickwit. Could have done that before you gave away the fucking phone. Just let them go already.
Yeah. He looks kind of cute, I think. That's not really like sharp angles. That's kind of round.
What? You're going to make me repeat myself, you thick motherfucker.
Hey, let's go. You take a look at him. The man is confused and clearly hurting. He flashes you an angry stare, but obeys his boss's orders to the letter.
What are you waiting for? A formal invitation? Get in the car. We have some talking to do.
The doors close behind you.
So, Langley Ha, I'm guessing you've got something for me then.
You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data.
Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago.
He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust.
Tell Sophie the deal is off. She wants her address. She can give me something else.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Or can I? You take on the most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniacal monster. Come on, man. Don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It'd mean a lot to me. The sound the Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. What does it sound like? You're pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that.
Look at me. I'm so pretty and well spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and then you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me. I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur into the wounds, rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus, I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So, I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can show it up her cunt. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out.
You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's Lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. I hope tomorrow brings me some bloody snacks. But wait, what should I do? Why isn't there an option to go like hunting? Because I should go hunting. I need blood. Maybe we could check out this other Nosferatu person or this gangrel person. Well, if we go in order, this one is next. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. Yep, I want blood. But the red frame disappeared. Maybe I'm not that hungry anymore. Maybe I did have some blood. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame, once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past the hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine. Mezzanine? What's a mezzanine? Most likely an office space. And then you see it, a faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Come on, Nosferatu. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds and an overflowing ashtray and paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly it hits you, that nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. That looks scary.
Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo.
You decide to play along, raising your arms slowly. You wait your next words carefully. You're pretty sure a bullet to the back wouldn't kill you, but it doesn't sound too pleasant either. How about you lower the gun so we can talk like civilized kindred?
Or I'm planet civilized. See,
You can feel the barrel digging deeper into your back.
double action, carbon steel frame. The finest handgun your hard-earned money can buy. Doesn't get much more civilized than that.
Hmm. If you're gonna shoot me, you might as well give me the courtesy of looking me in the eye. For a few tense seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again.
You know what? Fair enough.
In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for a lack of better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described him, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity, but this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you.
So, what brings you to my humble office?
You the one they call the Angelo?
That's my name, kid. Don't worry that. My friends call me Jin, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now I suggest you tell me what this is all about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office.
Charming, I can see why Cuddy keeps you around. His expression sours.
Not a name you wanna casually toss around, kid.
Yeah, I know.
But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however.
The Red Hook murders, I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile.
Do you now?
The Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds, he sits motionless with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly, he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then, he twirls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced. A lot. In front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue.
Sure, they seem to care. What was the endgame? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me.
He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. You.
Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered.
Mm. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Oh, maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. Ew. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I haven't yet found anything useful about this guy. Like Agathan the Warlock, he's obviously useful because of his magic And then Hope is a whiskey with internet stuff. But this guy, so far there's nothing.
I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you.
And do I look like a used car salesman? I don't think so. I'm an artist.
Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene. Take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. I could use an assistant, someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows? If you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement.
Hmm. What are we waiting for?
Just one more thing. You still got me at disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched on the surface. You catch my drift?
Yeah, since I'm such an artist person now, I probably don't really like taking notes that much. Unless they are drawings, maybe. Hmm.
So, answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or, in layman's terms, who do you work for?
Hmm. Maybe I'll just tell him. Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile.
So, you're the one, huh? The fledgling, the Toreador dam spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid.
One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you are about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving.
Alright, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking.
With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He's most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There is definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide, leprous, takes a sudden turn off Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place.
Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him, drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me?
You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera, and you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray painted sign on the wall. It reads,
The blood speaks.
in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. Did you say the victim was drained dry? Because I don't see a trace of blood anywhere.
Good eye, kid. It's details that count. And given the murder was committed right here, and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that.
I think the... Well, that's like... Maybe they used a sedative? I could suggest it. The killer used a sedative.
And then what? Pump out the blood without spilling a drop with people nearby? Nah, kid.
They brought him here.
Only one set of tools can do it, this quickly and this quietly.
Did they use a needle? So what's his idea? He smiles and taps himself on one of his fangs.
We're looking for a kindred, but not just any kindred. Take a look at that graffiti. What do you think it means?
Nothing, it's meant to throw us off.
Nah, I can see why you'd think that.
I didn't really think that, but the options were scarce.
But look at how crooked the letters are. Barely legible. You can't fake something like that. Someone was very nervous, very scared. It definitely meant something to them. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to?
Should I just guess something? Thin Bloods? This has Thin Bloods written all over it. Angela smiles approvingly. Yay!
In bright neon letters, a full-fledged kindred would use his powers to lure the victim somewhere out of sight, and they certainly wouldn't stick around for the shitty art project.
He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a cigar. Disgusting.
Shit, looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit.
Who's Larson? You don't sound too happy about it.
It's complicated. Larson's got a neat setup. For a thin blood, anyway. Lives with his family. A mortal family, mind you. Even though he's a primogen, he's managed to shield them from kindred politics. And that takes some doing.
He's a primogen. Wait. Primogen. The Primogen Council. Okay. Was there just Primogen somewhere here? No. That's too bad. Well, he's some kind of boss, I guess.
Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the Masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And I mean, shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness the other Primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad, as it is.
Yeah, I guess it would be since he's a thin blood. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make it out. Finally, He lights up a fresh cigar. He takes a puff and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile.
All right, kid. Let's get this over with.
Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. I'm, I guess I'm one of them blue-collar workers. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It almost seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. Well, he's ugly, and there are actual people there.
This is the place.
With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire.
Okay, kid. We gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet clothes.
But damn fly. I couldn't catch it.
Curses. I'm talking velvet clothes, soft cushions. You rang, my lord. Gentle. We need to get Larson out of here. Out here. Without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know.
Well, I I look more normal than you do. Maybe I should go get him. So what's the plan? Okay, so what's the plan?
Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it.
Yeah, and I bet you want my help with this, since I have such a pretty face compared to you. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit up window seems like a safe bet. No, it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes to view. Oh my. But he needs to take care of the dog. I can't eat him. I'm going to just ring the doorbell. I have a pretty face. Seeing no point in beating up around the bush, you walk right up to the door and ring the bell. The Angela wobbles up behind you in a comical attempt to remain stealthy. Yeah, I'm leaving the dog alone.
What the hell, kid? I meant there's taking a direct approach and then there's being a complete fucking idiot.
Hey, go hide, D'Angelo. I didn't touch the dog. Don't worry. Before you are able to explain yourself, you hear footsteps from inside the house. It sounds like someone is coming down the steps towards the front door. D'Angelo bites his lip and lets out a noise that sounds like a cricket dying of throat cancer. You're guessing it was supposed to be an unknown grunt. The door swings open and a very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck stands before you. You begin to wonder how a guy like that made it on the council this long. Even for a thin blood, he looks extremely unimpressive. The man gives you a puzzled look, then looks to D'Angelo. His face twists into a disgusted frown, like he just smelled a particularly nasty fart. So, this man is a thin blood. What the fuck, D'Angelo? I know, I can explain. Explain my ass. This is my home. Do you understand? Home! Where my children sleep? As if on cue, a child's voice can be heard coming from upstairs. Dad! It's okay, Poppy. Daddy's helping someone. You get back to bed now. I'll be right over to tuck you in. Once more the house grows silent. Larson lets out a sigh and turns back towards you. He is not a happy camper. Get the hell out of my house. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. Look, we didn't mean to intrude. All we need is 5 minutes of your time, then we're gone. Larson gives you a tired, frustrated look. He takes a deep breath. Not here. With that, he locks the front door and leads you several steps away from the porch. What do you want? It's about the Red Rook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Bullshit. Us Duskborns got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade? Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. No, I don't buy it. You're reaching, trying to find a scapegoat. Get in your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you are working for? Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. Yeah, and we could help you if you help us. What if it turns out one of yours did it, and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around. Consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. Deal. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a backseat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink, something warm, in a tall, sweaty glass. Do you mean like a tall, sweaty person? But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap, bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own. But hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. I did? Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. Yeah, keep your privates private. All in all,
You did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Lo- don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Lawson. Be ready to meet me at the office.
He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back toward you.
And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one.
No. Was that my night? That was my very Nosferatu night. And then you're walking down the street towards your heaven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In New York City, there are plenty of passers-by going about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They are invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker or a kindred troll tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car ordinary cops or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you felt like this. Following the queue of so many mortals around you, you stop at a street corner to casually survey your surroundings, as if you were trying to remember which turn to take. You look around, ostensibly at street signs, but in reality, to see if someone really is following you. Down the street, where you came from, a crowd of young drunk men argue loudly about baseball. There's an indistinct figure standing behind them, almost impossible to notice. A woman, probably. The men unconsciously move around her as they start to walk away, still mouthing off at each other. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. Oh no, am I going to die? I wake up! I didn't die. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. Who is it? It's Kaiser's lackey whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. He still looks kind of rough after your last brawl, but the damage to his face has clearly mended. His hands are out of his pockets, though, a sign of goodwill. That's close enough. Okay. Let me guess, this is not a social visit. Kaiser sent you? Don't say his name out loud, idiot. He takes a look around just to make sure nobody's listening in on your conversation. Yeah, he sent me. I'm supposed to give you this. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. I really wouldn't want Jackie to know where I sleep. I should find another place to sleep. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, "Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 181 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro." Uh, what debt? With Kaiser? When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a fedele servitor della famiglia, G. Those exact fucking words, and make sure you get the G right. Fedele servitore della famiglia, G. Fedele servitore della famiglia. What does that mean? We'll see if we remember. You'll get a bottle, just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else, just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie boy here and let him know. I do know Latin, but I don't know Italian. I think that was Italian. You done memorize that shit and hand it over. Didn't beg your boss for a letter kind of guy. Isn't electronic communication his whole shtick? Yeah, well, some things are better done the old-fashioned way. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases and address mentioned in the letter, then hand it back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. So, yeah, when you do that, do what the boss asks. Come back here so I can tell you where to go next. Do I believe that this guy is actually... I think that guy is having a grudge. He's probably holding a grudge. He might not actually be here for Kaiser. What should I do? I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item. Whatever it is. I don't know. And the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room, with a small table and chair occupied by a man in a black fox leather jacket with slick combed back hair. He's reading a newspaper, but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup, then gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help you? Oh, my voice, it's horrible. I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro, please. Let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry. I am a fedele servitore della famiglia. G. Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter and keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. Maybe I should have escaped or something. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile. Scusi. Sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? What if I choose this? Hmm. Listen, I don't have time for this. I knew the phrase right, just hand it over. She gives her companion a quick look. He's on edge, his knuckles white on the chair, but he's just watching you. Of course. Here. Deciding you pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways, just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods. Sure do. Cool, stand by, gotta make the call. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time. Hey, boss, yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah, I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back in his pocket and turns back to you. Village Point, half an hour, so you better step on it. See you around. With only a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Village Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes will kill your chassis. You step out into one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing in the ankle-deep water. No, my boots. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. Have I been framed of something? I bet I have been. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who is just locking the place up. Hmm, I'm afraid I need to eat. This is too perfect an opportunity to not take an advantage of. I haven't been eating. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night, when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You can taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. Your assault, the closing note of a long day at work. Uh, I should make a actual Discord channel for my streams, I think, but when I do that, I'll let you know. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car keys she dropped and place her in the driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out like this, for sure. I didn't kill her. Great. The bright lights of a car pulling over down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time, Kaiser is visible when you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you.
So you pulled it off without a hitch, then give it here.
You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it, gently, takes a whiff, and puts the cork back in.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charms with subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address.
Oh, she'll be so happy. He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. I think you still owe me a bonus for the extra legwork.
And I think you're a dumb piece of shit for even bringing it up. We can't be both. We can't both be right. Time for you to get out now.
He waves you out of the car. With the envelope in hand, you get out, back onto the torn asphalt in decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie is having a guest over. Thomas Arturo. You met in Elysium a few nights back. That shriek is unmistakable. Ah, so lucky. So glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk previously? Thomas speaks up before you can. I don't remember what kind of voice I used for him before.
Why, yes, of course. And such a good first impression you made, too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so, too, don't you, Sophie?
Why, of course I.
Of course you do, of course. Well, I believe I must be going. I'll be sure to let Prince Bunhard know your thoughts, Miss Langley. Word for word, or as close as I can remember then.
I appreciate it, Thomas.
You two enjoy your night now. Good night, Sophie. Solakium. Greggy boy.
Greggy boy. He gives you a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The doors close. He's quite the character, isn't he? Yes, quite. But he has his uses. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details, everyone from the prince to the lowliest primachan. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for? Hmm. I do have it. He gave me this card. Apologies for keeping you waiting. She retrieves the envelope from you. What's important is that you have it. Did he give you trouble? Hmm. He made me go on an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. I had to use a code phrases and whatnot. Wine shop? Code phrases? That degenerate pest. She is visibly agitated but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same letters you saw on Kaiser's note from before, but you can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear George. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside and you are left to do with the rest of this night's hours as you like. What's that? There's some. Oh, yeah, it was this creep. I think we need to take care of this creep before they do something bad to me. The moment I need to sneeze. Better. We still haven't gotten this person. Let's see. I hope it's not M, my sister. Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is what to do about it. Hmm. You venture out to the street with the goal of letting your stalker know you're aware of being followed. It's time to stop this ridiculous charade. It's raining outside, and as you step onto the street in front of your haven, you wonder whether that'll help you. Will you be able to see the footprints of your stalker in puddles on the ground? Not sure where to start, you slip a few bills to a homeless man and chat up the guy who runs the local bodega. What's that? So many mysterious words. Both of them talk your ear off about strange characters hanging around, but none of their stories seem right to you. Walking the streets, you're convinced by turns that everyone you see is an enemy agent out to get you, and that your stalker has decided to take the night off. Frustrated, after a couple of hours of useless searching, you cross the road without looking where you're going. A courier on a motorbike zooms towards you and has no time to brake or swerve as you suddenly step in front of him. For a split second, your eyes meet those of the man on the bike, and you both know you'll collide. You You'll get hurt. Something hits you, pushing you forward. You tumble, flying to the sidewalk as the courier zooms past. You feel a weight on your back, catching a glimpse of something, a person, a female, you think, and then she disappears. So, a helper? You could spend a couple more hours trying to find the woman who's been stalking you, but in your shriveled undead heart, you know it is to be futile. She's gone. My shriveled undead heart. And then we rest again. There's another new face. No, I don't want to. That weirdo. That religious weirdo. We haven't met her yet. Well, let's meet up with her and maybe then we can. If we can meet up with two vampires, maybe we can then see what's up with Agathon. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it countless times, in broad daylight teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the west gate into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkept foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air, as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. Oh yeah, these kindred were like kind of wild, a bit like werewolves, but not werewolves. There are werewolves in the world of darkness, but they are pretty. I guess they are difficult to deal with. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. You take a deep breath, your nostrils fill with the scent of dead leaves and something else. A faint whiff of copper, too subtle for a human to notice, but your newfound kindred intuition tells you that you're in the right spot. Yeah, there are Tamika's hunting grounds. These are Tamika's hunting grounds, alright. It's more than a hunch. You can feel it in your veins. Now it's only a matter of finding her, unless, of course, she finds you first. She will probably find me first. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees. A quick but evenly paced, most likely a late night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. No, we just fed last night. Hmm. You head south, delving deeper into the less frequented section of the park. Passing, passing a babbling stream, you make your way into the ravine. Home to some of the oldest trees in the park, it's the place to go when you want to get away from the crowd and enjoy some one-on-one time with nature. And that's during the day. At night, it's bound to be a gangrel's delight. Making your way through the brush, you come across a rocky crevice hidden behind a wobbly chain-link fence. You leap over the fence in a single bound, trying to land as quietly as kindredly as possible. Kindredly. The crevice looks deep enough for you to think twice about jumping in. Instead, you peer into the darkness below, listening intently. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Is it Tamika? Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as five-finger shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. Uh-oh. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, alright, but he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. It's you, Neil. Hi, how are you? Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over, calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest. I didn't want to disturb because I was reading. But I am streaming. That means I am here to be disturbed. If anyone wants to disturb me. Hmm. Stay out of it, Dan. I smelled him first. Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you. You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie. Tamika looks at you, expectantly. Um, Easy there, big shot. You made your point, okay? Confirmed badass. I'm not looking for a fight. Tamika tilts her head in a way that's barely noticeable, and yet strangely expressive. She seems disappointed. The man loosens up, his lips twisting into a wry smile. Clearly, you just gave him the confidence boost he needed. Figures. You got that look about you. All style, no substance. Didn't even have to smell. Didn't even have to smell you. I know a sissy when I see one. Yeah, I'm a sissy. That's me. Well, guess what? You ain't getting off that easy, chicken shit. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Roll. I'll handle it from here. The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment. Then he turns back towards you. Fine. They're not worth the effort anyway. Having said his piece, Roll retreats into the shadows, although, if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point, huh? I like that. I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say. Say it. I come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services such as they are. All I would hope in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship. So you want to help me with something? Because you want to be my friend? That about right? Yeah, when you put it that way, it does sound corny, doesn't it? Uh-huh. She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued. Corny's not bad though. I think I'm okay with corny. What I'm okay what I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So why exactly should I trust anything you say? Hmm, I don't think mentioning Jezebel would be good. I don't expect you to. Not yet, anyway. We just met, you know. Good, because my trust is earned, not given. Then let me earn it. A few nights of your time, that's all I ask. For a brief moment, she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes, as if trying to seize you up. Finally, she looks away. It looks like she's come to a decision. Just so that we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, there's something about you. Most kindred who are this pretty tend to hide their rot underneath, but I don't smell it on you. So I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding businesses to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here and we'll see what you're really made of. And with that, Tamika disappears into the night. That went pretty well, all things considered, I guess. How about we now go see the Warlock again? How's Agathon tonight? You know what to expect when you return to this small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade, or is it like facade? 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 There's nothing, there's something real. This time, the Buddhas and the satanic Bibles of the storefront seem almost funny. Or perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry humor of this Tremere. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble into you. Well, the doodle, you don't have to. I'm doing it for you, apparently.
Solakium, what are you doing here?
Look, I came to help you, like last time.
Okay, fine. You're right. Follow me.
As he turns to go, Agathon almost looks pleased that you're here. That's right, Diddle. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time, but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle. An aging mid-size family sedan. You imagine what it would look like with a baby seat in the back. Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices your look.
Love all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical.
Yeah. You sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. Maybe I'll let him. I could ask, or I could just let him drive in peace. You decide that it's best to let Agathon drive in peace. Agathon is very comfortable driving in silence. You look out the window, wondering at the ordinary lives of the people you pass by. Suddenly, Agathon snaps you out of your reverie. Reverie. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Solakium. Do you enjoy the hunt?
Hmm. Do I enjoy the hunt? Not particularly. No, I just can't get over the fact that I used to be one of these people. The prey. A short time ago. Even if it feels good in the moment, in the long run it doesn't.
I know how that feels. Many kindred are suspicious of the Tremere, but I believe that we are on the verge of discovering something that will be a great boon to our kind.
What are you going to discover? That sounds interesting. For a second, Akathon sounds so sincere. You take a look at him to make sure he isn't joking. Doesn't seem so. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of the nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. You glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. It's obvious this is not his kind of place. Okay, I'm going to have to be the face again, like with the Nosferatu. It's not your kind of place, not exactly, but you've probably been here and just forgotten it. For a bunch of perennially penniless archetypes, your friends were always good at trawling through every gutter in search of a high.
There's a good chance the research notes are here.
Hmm, a good chance is a good chance. So we're looking for research notes.
Yes, and that's all you need to know.
Okay. There's a line into the club. It looks like a popular spot, even if based on the crowd. This is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. Hmm. I don't think we want to wait in the line. You walk up to the man at the door and smile. Hey, you remember me, right? Mind if we go in? The bouncer looks at you, taken in by your supernatural charisma. It doesn't matter whether he really remembers you or not. Sure, go right in. Have a great night. You walk into the club, ignoring all the people standing in line. The music beats down on you, bringing with it memories of a human existence. The first time you went dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time it's different. You're a predator, and everyone around you is prey, tightly packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. So delicious, people. You sense the emotions all around you blood tinted with happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love. A buffet of sensations.
Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find.
You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you. hungry. I guess there's the red frames again. It would be nice to drink from one. But what about Agathon? I think I need to focus on helping him. Eyes on the prize. You came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon wades through the dancing people with purpose, but you have no idea how he is searching for the missing research notes. Perhaps he's using the enchanted senses of a vampire or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he is doing. Juno. You swerve to avoid a drunken man who was just about to spill beer onto you and try to see what Agathon is looking at. A young woman, intense, purposeful, a little out of place at the nightclub, just like you and Agathon. Let me guess, she's after your research notes too. They are not my research notes, but yes. The woman, Juno, elbows a drunken man out of her way and points a finger at Agathon's face. She looks like she's wearing a wig. Agathon, you traitor! Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine! You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words. Juno, you know Aisling will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all. Juno pulls close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear her over the music. You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Aisling fucking Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog. Tell me about the brainwashed part. What do you mean brainwashed? Are you brainwashed, Agathon? Agathon looks around the dimly lit crowd, clearly too exasperated for words. That's what they do in the pyramid. Recruit us into loyal little soldiers for the Council of Seven, but no more. That's not the same thing as brainwashing. I work with Aisling out of my free will. Are you seriously telling me that Aisling asked your permission before she turned you into a fucking vampire? Agathon winces visibly at the word vampire. Fortunately, the loud beat of the music drowns out Juno's voice. That would make her unique among our kind. They sure as fuck didn't ask me. Actually, many vampires embrace only after asking for permission. This is so like you, Agathon. You just can't let anything go without making one of your little corrections. Juno, please. Juno steps back, suddenly cold. Ignoring the people dancing all around, she stares hard at Agathon. The past is past. The traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure of that, here and now. You know I have the power. No, Juno, please. Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine masquerade breach. I think it's kind of dangerous for me to do this because I'm so hungry. Look around you, we're in a crowd of humans. If you start something here, it will be a masquerade breach. Catching on, Agathon joins in to support your argument. If you break the masquerade, it won't be just Aisling Sturbridge who has it in for you. It'll be Kadir. Juno looks hesitant, worried. After a moment, she backs away. Alright, you assholes. I'll play it cool. She slides into the dancing crowd. You see her move amidst the people, but it doesn't look like she'll start a fight. Give me a few seconds and I'll verify if the notes are here or not. You idle among the dancers, and Agathon prowls clumsily out of place in the throng. Finally, he comes back to you. They were here, but not anymore. The ritual I performed is very reliable. We can go. Juno will probably waste some time trying to find the notes here, and that'll give us an edge. You leave the nightclub. Outside, you walk to Agathon's car and drive back over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading for Agathon's haven. Juno mentioned some very personal things. I trust your discretion in not discussing those things with Aisling. Of course, because I'm going to have you in my coterie. You're my pal. Not going to tell your boss anything about those. Your love life is your business. Thank you. After a while, you reach Agathon's haven, and he parks the car. You walk to the occult, occult bookstore, and Agathon invites you inside. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. You follow Agathon upstairs to find Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. She puts a bookmark in place as you come in. How did she speak? You were successful, I hope. No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore. That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protégé do? Agathon turns to look at you. Well, surprisingly well. That's a surprise. I'll have to compliment Sophie on her choice. We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either. That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, fledgling? She seemed angry. She was very angry. I don't know what you people did to her, but she's pissed. What we did? Careful now, fledgling. She made her own choices, bad as they were. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. You leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's service if you wanted to? I could probably leave Sophie's service if I wanted to. But Agathon probably couldn't leave Aisling's service. And there is a new night. What? It's Kadir. Kadir al-Asmai, the sheriff of New York City, is knocking at the door to your haven. The sight comes as more than a little shocking. If he had business with you, you'd either expect to see him already inside, or never see him coming at all. Is this a friendly visit then? Yet there he is, on the other side of the peephole, patiently and politely, waiting for you to let him in. You carefully unlock the door and face him in silence. Evening, may I come in? You simply stare at him. Your lack, your lack of an answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance as he starts walking inside has obviously been interpreted as permission. Once inside, he starts looking around as you cautiously stay by the door. Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? Well, not really, I've been busy. It feels like Langley's apartment, true and true. A secluded study where nobody studies anything. Indeed. Look at the books on this shelf. Obviously meant to impress guests and not to be read. They reveal nothing about their owner, aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual. He picks one of them up and smirks before putting it away. The phenomenology of spirit, next to all of this garbage poetry. We can make a bet. If she's read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood. Yeah, sure. The kind of place that self-professed hermits entomb themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably only use it to shelter from the sun and rest, right? Indeed. Even though he's obviously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the first impression he made. You still see him as a fierce predator, trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight or flight response as you struggle to find a diplomatic answer to his last question. If Kadir is bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye. Eventually, he speaks up again. Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan. Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You you attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. Ah, the options. Apparently, I just can't speak to him. He seems like he's trying to be friendly, but yeah, baseball. He tried to talk about books first and then baseball, but mm, your mind keeps going back to that night when everything was changed forever. Waking up in hell with a body next to you, spending a night in that underground sweatbox, unsure of what will happen next. That endless car ride, three strikes, bloodthirsty crowd that played. Are you a human who likes baseball? That's interesting. I don't know people who likes who like baseball, but there must be a lot of them. A, rebe- a rebirth, a baptism by fire, a frightening executor who makes sure the flames scarred your spirit. Kadir doesn't say anything either. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries, hmm? There's no animosity in his voice. He's just stating a fact. Let me get straight to the point then. He momentarily stops caring about his surroundings, turning all of his attention to you and demanding the entirety of your attention in return. Hmm. I wonder if Kadir would be a nice partner. You see, there's something I've realized over the years. In large part, I may have been hired just to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. I'm not I'm not really sure he would be better than Valentine. He's dead. He's a corpse. And and Hope told me that not all vampires can even orgasm, so he might not be that good. But who knows? He's prettier than Valentine. I give him that. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhere to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see, but that obviously remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspirators, overly ambitious gangsters and politicians, monsters in denial, all sort of tragically broken individuals. I see. They are driven by desires that make them incompatible with the masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival of the Camarilla, incompatible with the methods I used to operate. Are you saying I'm incompatible? Please no. I'm very compatible with you, Kadir. And so, I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back. Maybe for a good reason, but immediately called for help whenever someone loses their tableware. Or like an Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone but constantly lied to about everyone's past and motivations, even if my failure to solve the mystery might be the end of us all. But I couldn't talk to him at all. Like, almost at all. He tries to sound like he's peacefully resigned to his fate, but it's easy to detect a tinge of regret in his voice. A voice belonging to someone who once had bigger ambitions than this. Maybe he needs a friend. What broke him? So you see, for this detective, the why done it is far more important than who done it or how done it. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But of course, the kindred know it, so they devise ways to make my job much harder. Just like conspiracies between two unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's backs for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected, their troll. A boss serving their employee, a rebel serving a tyrant, just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. What has Sophie seen in you? Why does the prince keep asking me about your actions? How come you're being pushed to build your own coterie so fast? I don't know, you tell me, Kadir. You are surrounded by unclear motivations, which you yourself don't understand. That unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well. It does but what can I do? Oh, and what are your motivations? Finally, you manage to raise your voice. Candide notices the effort and smiles softly. "Hmm, So you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you. Good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligations. What? So you actually came here to be my friend? The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. Now that you've been accepted into the Camarilla, what choice do I have? Really? But you're the sheriff. I'd understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of the faces of the New York City's community, and as long as you're part of it, it's going to be impossible to avoid me. Yeah, I know. Did he really come here just to make friends? Especially when I have business with you. And I do. He has business with me. As you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and understanding your bonds, and one of them might endanger our community. What one? Well, that's not menacing at all. Who is he talking about? Oh, hi, Tex and Andrea. Have fun using me as a background noise. I'm, I'm, I've been good. Try to sleep well. Don't have nightmares. It's not good. Hmm. But who does he think is dangerous? Kaiser, maybe? Is this about Kaiser? Kadir shakes his head. Oh, who is it then? That leper is bad news if you ask me. But who doesn't trade information with him these days? No, they are not a major player. He produces a file from underneath his coat and passes it to you. This is our troublemaker. You open the file and see some printed photos. You freeze up as you recognize the face and are overwhelmed by a flood of repressed memories. No, it's my sister. But I haven't been in touch with her. Yeah, this is a vampire game. Uh, it started like picking a character and they were turned into a vampire and living as a vampire, trying to survive and making friends, apparently. And if you're not familiar with visual novels, this is that kind of game. So there is not much action and there is a lot of talk or text, reading, whatever. It's Emma, my sister, who should be human and alive still, and who I have not heard of since I was turned into a vampire. The only person who's kept you hanging on through all these years, the only person you have in your corner in your never ending fight against the world. You've kept your shit together so far, tried not to think about her until you got everything sorted out, but seeing her face brings a lump to your throat. Twilight vibes! No, this is nothing like Twilight. These vampires are like more like how vampires should be, in my opinion. And there has been no romance at all. You look up at Kadir, expecting answers. I'll be frank. At first, I thought you were a total commercial failure, someone destined to eventually disappear from the streets of New York without a trace, all one's soul to care. But it looks like your sister is the best guardian one could ask for. Lots of friends in high places, and lots of favors to collect. The word is, she'll do anything to get you back. So what should I do about that? The risk of endangering us is relatively low, but far from non-existent, which means your sister must be stopped. Uh, okay. Must be stopped sounds threatening. You dread thinking what he's planning. Please don't kill my sister. I'll arrange for you to meet your for you two to meet tomorrow so that you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to the life you've forsaken. Oh no, that's kind of sad. But it's nice to see Emma again. He'll arrange what? Your eyes must look like saucers right now. Usually, these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. The lost sheep reappears, takes care of unfinished business, and disappears, never to be seen again. Nobody cares. It's simple, it's clean. No contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims. And it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe. So he's going to stalk me through my meet up with my sister. When neonates interact with kine they used to hold dear, their true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. He really wants to get to know me. Of course, he's invested in being kind to you, or he's making clear his self serving intentions so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Hmm. Any objections? Any alternatives are probably worse. You shake your head. Very well. I'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better come up with a load of bull that's easy to swallow. He disappears from the apartment, leaving you as confused as the last time he closed the door on you. God damn it. You need to think it through. So I guess I'm thinking Emma. For a long time, you just sit in your heaven, lost in your thoughts, trying to come up with lies that will convince the only person who's ever seen the real you. Hmm. So, who should we meet up with next? Fatman. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, we have not met with him yet, so let's do it. The streetlights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow, as if someone were shooting a movie outside. The art pieces display a tasteful expense, entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. It feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on these premises, most of them under her benevolent hospitality. So we are at Sophie's. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people judge me based on how you dress, don't you? What? What's wrong with my clothes? Sophie looks at your clothes as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. Well, I have not had any time to get myself any new clothes. I've been. I guess have been wearing the same clothes all this time, all these nights. I have had other things to worry about than shopping for clothes. Sophie walks to the window and looks out, the street lights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitations of her subjects. You'd think that a vampire, at least we wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have power and ability, there are always parasites trying to feed on you. Hmm. No, I'm not going to beat the bastard up. Is there a reporter after you? Yes, a terribly persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on a sofa, a wine glass with red liquid in it, blood treated as not to spoil. I wonder how they treat blood. You've become good at noticing the scent, even from distance. She doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. This awful man has been stalking my apartment with a camera. He's gone through my trash, talked to the neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there is nothing for him here. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I can see it in your face. Nonsense. Some rancid beast is stalking me, that's all. It's just the secrecy of the masquerade. It's a bore, sometimes. A necessary bore, but a bore nonetheless. This must happen often. How do you usually deal with it? Everyone has their own way. Sometimes the problem goes away with a bit of money or sharp words. Other times you need something more. Hmm. Do you know anything about this reporter? Man, woman, young, old, anything like that? All gossip reporters look the same to me. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. You leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. You don't have a clear idea of the games she plays with the city's mortal and immortal power structures, but she always seems to be making a move. Outside, on the street, there's a slight warm drizzle, the kind that gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own heaven. No reporters immediately jump out to you. New York smells of people, thousands and thousands of them, packed together. It takes a moment for you to get to grips with the full panoply of sensation, but once you do, there's one that sticks out. Cheap aftershave. The strong imprint of someone who has hung around the building a lot, strong enough to persist despite the light rain, stale cigarette smoke, sweat. You follow your hunch, and as you walk closer, you reflect on how sometimes being kindred makes things so easy. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy place between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have worried you, made you think of muggings and violence. Now it's clear that the most dangerous thing here is you. The man you are following seems to realize this too. He holds his camera in front of him like a shield, its heavy objective resting on his paunch. With a start, you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses from a picture next to a byline in some trashy paper. The article was about a friend of yours, an artist, who was reported to be dating a celebrity. It was true, but the celebrity didn't want to be associated with your friend and broke it off afterwards. For months, your friend cursed Doherty's name. What Doherty? What a name. Hey, don't go around scaring people like that. Hmm. Wow, you're Frank Doherty. I'm a huge fan. Love your work. Thank you. It's nice to have one's work appreciate it. A lot of scoops here in this dirty alley. You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. Do you live here? I'm working on a story about a local resident. Her name is Sophie Langley. Everybody knows her in high society circles. From the way you look, I'm guessing you might know her too. She's a redhead, pretty as a picture, and there were a lot of pictures of her through the years. That's the thing, in fact. Look at this. Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites, while others are photos from the society pages of newspapers from past decades. All show Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyles, makeup, names, but the face remains the same. They are all hot. Other than that, I'm not sure. Come on! Look at the face. It's always the same. So, why does it matter? Maybe it doesn't, but people are always interested in staying young. 3 words: extreme plastic surgery. All the celebrities do it. Only her doctor is better than the rest. You look pretty. Need some more tea. You look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. You're thinking the world's best plastic surgeon is working out of this alley? Okay, fine. I don't know what this is about. So, how would you explain it? Have you considered the possibility that those pictures are a hoax? Sure, anything can be a hoax. But I dug up those old papers from the archives myself. I got to have something usable. Hmm. Frank, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to give you something you can work with. Take it. Frank is clearly taken aback by the change in your tone, but he's a gossip reporter. He's used to people trying to push him. Look, I'm a reporter. You can bluster, but you can't hide the truth. Hmm. I'll tell you one more thing about Sophie. She's good at suing people. Do you think you can afford a lawsuit? This job is all I have. Don't do this to me. It's your choice. I'm not your enemy. Desist and there won't be any trouble. Frank is taken back at the brutality of your tone. He has been intimidated many times before, but he also knows that sometimes the threats are real. This time, he senses you are not kidding. He's just an aging man trying to salvage a career. You win. I hope you and Sophie Langley have a happy life. Deflated and hunched over, Frank trudges away from the alley. You stare at his receding figure. It's hard not to feel sorry for him. In Sophie Langley, he took on something way too powerful for a small fish like himself. So that was that. And it's daytime again. How sad. Will we wake up? Knock knock. You ask, who's there? You'd ask who's there, but you don't know if the sheriff of the New York City would play along. Oh yeah. We are going to meet Emma. Emma, my dear sister. When you open the door, you see him toying with the car keys he's holding in his hand. Ready to go, fledgling. You don't feel like it, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent. Stay close. He leads you down to the vehicle he's parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel, literally and figuratively. Everything inside is just the way you remember it, down to the rear view window, reflecting the intense stare of your guide. Wait, like, is he driving like he's just staring at the staring at the mirror through the mirror at me and just driving blind or what? However, the trip itself feels notably different. The last time Kadir drove you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your old life. This time, he's pulling you back into it. M. Let me tell you how it's going to go. As I said, I've arranged a meeting between you and your kin. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you two from a safe distance to make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I'll reiterate just so you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that would violate the masquerade. Don't establish some secret routes of contact. I will know. Do treat it as the last time you two will ever meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. I guess I will have to try my best. Here's your story. You're fine. Found yourself at a crossroads. Decided to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable. The rent is too high. They've heard it all. But you don't know M. However, you wouldn't leave for good without saying farewell to the only person who cared. He gives you a compassionate stare. It's gonna leave a scar, boy, but a true artist knows those are not something to hide, but to display with pride. Oh yeah, Kadir was supposed to be a Toreador vampire as well, so he's the artistic type despite him being the sheriff. You're a fresh corpse. People you meet can still leave a mark on you. One night, a long time from now, you'll realize you miss collecting new wounds. The car makes a sudden turn. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be so kind and don't make me regret it. You can sense he's going out of his way for you. but doesn't try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see if you are worthy of his aid. We are here. You take a look around and recognize your destination. He was right. It is a familiar place. It's right next to that exhibition space, the one where you met your future sire. This is where you saw Emma for the last time. This is where they last saw poor Solacium. Who knows whatever might have happened to him? That's what your sister is trying to find out. I took the liberty of messaging her in your stead. She's up here, waiting for you to come and explain yourself. I'm afraid I have to wrap this up after this meeting with Emma and continue the next time. But yeah. He turns off the engine and relaxes comfortably in his seat. You silently leave the car and head straight for the exhibition space. The elevator ride up just doesn't seem to end. After what feels like 5 hours but in reality is closer to 30 seconds, you finally reach your floor. It's Emma. Yeah. Emma doesn't say anything. Em is standing there, looking at the paintings. She's trying to act carefree, but is holding onto her back a little too tightly. What's wrong, Em? When she hears your footsteps. It's nice that you've endured this long, Toreador. When she hears your footsteps, she's startled. Then she sees you, and her eyes immediately fill with tears. She runs up to you and gives you a hearty hug. Oh no, it's Emma.
God damn it, Solacium! God damn it!
Damn it. Yeah, she had this horrible voice. You stay in her arms, silent for a little while. The bonds of blood run deep. This feels right.
You're so cold. What happened to you?
You look into her eyes and start searching your heart for a lie that would satisfy her, if only a little bit. So you see, I met this man and he was interested in art I make, and he was from the other side of the world. You stop mid-sentence. It's perfectly obvious that you are not exactly telling the truth, and her expression makes it obvious that she knows.
What happened, Solacium? Talk to me.
All the life-saving work she's sent your way, from that concept artist job to this very exhibition. I've been losing my mind. Talked literally everybody I know to ask when the last time they saw you was. All the times she helped you get your shit together. I've always been honest with you. The last you can do is return the favor. She wouldn't believe even if I told her. She has, and she absolutely deserves to know, but she can't. Kadir is waiting downstairs.
Solacium!
Her voice startles you. Your first instinct is to run. And like the beast you become, you trust it.
Solacium!
You can't do this, not now, not like this. She watches as you, kindred, an undying creature of the night, zoom away from her, run into the elevator and press the ground floor button. I see. I couldn't handle it. This might be the last time you ever see each other. At least, look her in the eye and force yourself to tell her one last thing. Don't search for me, for your and my own good. That's not very convincing, but I guess I am overcome with emotions or something. She's too stunned to react as the elevator doors close. You slide down the wall, hiding your face in your arms. You find your own priorities disgusting, but what gets you down the most is not the fact you failed to give closure to the only person you cared about. It's more that you failed to make this farewell beautiful. How horrible of me. It makes you feel like a failure of an artist. Even with all this newfound power, you still can't express yourself through the canvas of your life. You're still stuck in your old ways. But you know, Em, she'll take the pain you've caused her and use it to make art that resonates, that sells. What if authentic trauma is the best gift you could find to repay all her generosity? Jesus Christ, you're disgusting. If you consider all of those emotions commodities, no wonder you're a failure as an artist. The elevator doors open. Better run while she's still up there. Back to Kadir's car. Once you close the door, he instantly puts his foot on the gas pedal. Walking off the pitch with no regrets. Said everything you had to say? Well, no. Kadir sighs. Yeah, that's what I gathered from here. I'll keep an eye on the situation. Placate her somehow if she won't stop looking. I've got some well-tested methods. Non-violent, of course. Thank you for the non-violent methods. He gives you a good stare via the rear view mirror. You're an artist, aren't you? You nod half-heartedly. So you, of all people, should know that things never work out the way you plan. There could always be more time to plan, tools that could help you execute it better. Perfection is just an accident. The only thing you can do is give it your best shot given the circumstances, and immediately move to the next thing. When all is said and done, regret is nothing but narcissism and waste of time. Sophie, your coterie, those are the materials you've been given, and they're potent ones. Make the best use of them, so that they might create something more beautiful than your artist's tools never did. And as a side note, I envy you. I wish I still had someone to make my knees feel like jelly. Even when you can't see them anymore, just knowing they are there keeps you in touch with what you once were. The car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Kadir a good, hard look. Thanks. It doesn't feel like how do you call it, very vampire thing to say, but you say it nevertheless. He's visibly taken aback, and his usually furrowed brow smooths out for a moment. Then he takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expression. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy is still here, and without a doubt, he will go back to decapitating suckers like you any time now. Yeah, I know, but you are trying to be friendly. The car starts slowing down. We are here. You look out the window and see your heaven. Take care, I'll see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your heaven, thinking about Kadir. Can't say you're fond of him, what with the welcome he gave you and all, but after tonight, you can't say you aren't either. You're gonna need some more time to understand him. That's for sure. And this is the end. This time. That was a lot of talking on my part. I wonder if I'll have any voice left tomorrow. Yeah. Have to go eat and thank you. Thank you, Dudu. And thank you everyone else watching. I have enjoyed this story a lot. Yeah, I'm going to drink something. I've been drinking a lot of tea while I was streaming, but maybe just some water. Yeah. Thank you, and I will be streaming again maybe tomorrow, but I'm not promising anything. I might